Afia, proudly brought to you by Qtix PLC, exclusive quality since 1982.
If you're a talented person in southeastern Nigeria, you might have possibly come across someone giving you this advice that you should leave this place if you're going to maximize your potential. Now, oftentimes the argument comes up that Enugu is a bit too slow, that Aba is a bit too rough, Onitsha is a bit too timid, just things that people say that sort of connotes that there is no opportunity for you to grow and be successful. So today we're going to be dissecting this topic. Yes, the one regarding talent retention in southeastern Nigeria. And why do talents here often think that they have to relocate outside of this region to attain success? To help us dissect this topic today is our guest, Eliezer AJAH. He is the MD of the Genesis Foundation, and prior to that, he has had a long history with talent management. We'll be back after the break as we pick up this conversation.
Onye Afia, proudly brought to you by Qtix PLC, exclusive quality since 1982.
Welcome back, and if you're just joining us for the first time, this is Onye Afia on Afia TV, and I am Odera Collins, and with me today is Eliezer AJAH. Hi, Eliezer, how are you doing?
Hi, Odera. I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I think the first time I heard about AJAH, I was like, oh, finally, someone that's like me, managing talents, and not just managing talent, managing a lot of talents at the same time, right, for a tech company. Now, let's talk a little bit about your background. How did you come into that space?
Yeah, I've had a very diverse background, particularly because I've tried experimenting different things. I started in digital marketing as a social media manager, and then moved from that to training and brand, actually. Where did I go to first? Brand before training.
I think that for every young person who is in tech and media in this time, sort of dabbled around digital marketing at some point.
Yeah, but I started as the social media manager for Genesis.
That's usually the name that we start with.
Yes, I was a social media, and it was interesting because I didn't even have Twitter at the time, and that was my first thing.
Wow.
And I just said, and that's been my approach to life. Let me just tweet like it's my account, and I just started being excited and raise the oomph for the account, and we had like lots of followers, lots of engagement, and I was like, maybe this is nice. But then I moved to brand after that, brand and communications.
How? Why did you transition?
I felt I had maxed my ability for social media because when I started handling the page, it was like 400 followers. At the time I was leaving, it was like 4,000, and it was less than 2 years. And that was my first foray into that. But I got to the point where I felt that maybe I could do more for the organization, and maybe I could do more effectively. Because at the time I was doing brand and communications in addition to social media. And for every pro in social media, you can't combine that with anything.
I feel like social media is a jealous spouse.
I'm telling you, don't share me.
Don't do any other thing.
So I had to now choose one part, and I felt I had done this for a bit. So I moved into brand and communication. And from there, I moved into training. And it was interesting because I was just working, and my boss at the time said, have you heard about ICDL? It's a certification. The hubris in me obviously came out, and I was like, well, if it's an exam, I'm going to write it and I'm going to pass it. And I was like, oh. And then 2 days later, I was on a flight to Abuja to write the certification exam.
So much confidence. Yeah. You need to tell me about that.
And then I wrote the exam and I passed it, and I became an ICDL trainer.
Okay.
Yeah. And then,
so for those watching, what is ICDL?
ICDL is International Certificate for Digital Literacy. Okay. So it's basically a certification that ensures that everything like computer appreciation, ICT in education, cybersecurity, it's a very large scope that helps you be digitally literate. So TED Fund at the time had a program with universities where they were teaching staff how to be more digitally enabled post-COVID, to start using more tech tools to teach because of the new normal that we had gotten into. So I was at the forefront of that. I taught people in UNN, at EBSU. I went to my alma mater, Funai, in Ebonyi, and all my lecturers failed. It was a full circle moment. Like, so you now know that now the tables have turned. I was at OAU, which was the most serious school I taught at the time, because they took it very personally and shared results of how they were able to integrate this in what they did. But after I did training for a bit, I had to go and learn the art of teaching afresh. And that's been the most recurring thing in my career. Every time I've moved into a new field, there has to be the reskilling part of it, where I had to like learn how to do this properly. So I was in Lagos for like a month, which also made me realize how much I hated Lagos. That was one part for that. And then I did learning and development as a learning and development specialist, became consulted for a couple of companies, Deal and Oyster at the time, and then became head of talent development and outsourcing at Genesis, because we're training people and they were getting jobs outside of our sphere of influence. And we felt, maybe we can take a more active role in this and provide these opportunities for them, because like Andela's always said, brilliance is distributed evenly, but opportunity sadly isn't. So we decided to create opportunities for these people that were learning via talent outsourcing. And then now I'm just running the foundation as the MD. So that's basically what the trajectory of my career. Oh, I did program back in the day, like 2017. But I was like, I don't want to be behind a laptop for longer than I have to.
I think you have like a lot of energy. So, being stuck, you will feel stuck.
I felt stuck. I did feel stuck. So the moment I did my project, which I got an A in, by the way.
Emphasis. Like, you see how he looked, like, had to make sure.
Yeah, whichever camera, it was an A. I had an A in my project.
Proud much.
Thank you so much. I had an A in my project, but I was like, no more coding for me after that. And then that moved into different areas of life that I have done. So basically, I've touched talents in different areas, but currently I'm touching talents in the nurturing area, where you train these people and try to get jobs for them.
So now I have to ask, because it's related to our topic for today, is how did your interest in talent start? Like, what happened? What did you see?
What I saw, because the first exposure I had to proper tech was when I did my internship at Genesis in 2017. I was still in college at the time. And it was such a unique approach to learning that I was very inspired to continue in computer science, because before then I was thinking, maybe I know how to talk very well, right? Maybe I should drop out from college, drop out from uni,
and do what?
Go and do law.
Okay.
EPSO has the best law school at the time. EPSO had the best law school in Nigeria, so go and do law and use this for something, because we had started writing Java and it was a little bit complicated. And then I came to Genesis and there was a different approach towards learning, and I was like, okay, maybe this is a better option to follow. And then I took that path and started doing more of that. So when I came back, I was like, because after college, after I'd finished uni at the time, I had like 2 offers from Lagos to write code and move, but I also had a counter offer from Genesis in Enugu. And I felt this is what I wanted to do at the point. At the time, I didn't care about talent nurturing as much. It was just
what made you care?
What made me care was when I saw the work that we had done, when a couple of people that had worked there and learned, that came with no knowledge, got jobs in Google, got job at Microsoft, and started contributing to society. And I also taught a couple of people at Omoku. It was Federal College of Education in Omoku, ICDL in 2019. And they were so moved by my teaching that even though the federal government had paid my company about 30 million at the time for that training, they contributed money and gave me, I think, 6,000. That was a lot of money for me at the time. And some rappers. So I was like, oh, this is nice. So I felt, okay, I do enjoy teaching. And then genetically, my father is a teacher. And I feel some of these things also pass. My elder brother lectures at the University of Delaware as well. My other sister lectures at UNIZIK.
Okay, so come from a long
I come from a long lineage of teachers. And when I did it, I was a natural. And I felt this is something I might want to continue.
Okay.
And then the net gain of seeing somebody, like now you go to any tech event happening in Enugu, probably in Nigeria, because I've seen this in Abuja, I've seen this in Lagos, I've seen this in Owerri, I've seen this in Enugu, and you see somebody that has passed through a program we do at the hub, running this, there's an instant gratification that says everything was worth it. So, and I'm a very people person, and there's nothing more people than nurturing talent, because you're going to talk to these people, you're going to shape them, and they're going to do something for society. That's what spurred my interest. And the fact that I was good at it as well, which I know is not a lot because I'm good at a lot of things, but it was...
You're so proud. I like it. I like the confidence.
I know it looks like pride, but it's not pride, it's hubris. It's worse than pride, it's ego. So, but at the end of the day, it felt great, and I know you'd see that a lot based on the work you did at Blueprints. Some of the people that started working with you at first, they have grown, they probably even started their media, and you see them like, that's my baby.
And they reach out, sometimes they reach out to you like, oh, I have this opportunity, can you write me a recommendation? I was like, oh my God.
Yes, that's the same thing. Because, I wrote a lot of recommendations as well for technician, for undergraduate studies, for graduate studies. And, once they go and they tell me, oh, this is what I'm doing in my life, I'm happy, and my value system, things that make me happy, no matter how little, are things that make me happy. So it was always positive for me to hear things like this. And I was like,
and inspiring. Very,
I would just
very,
continue
very
like
true.
that.
Yeah. So now we're picking on, the big problem that we're having, talent retention.
Yeah.
I mean, there's you, very talented Ezra.
Oh, I thank you.
Yes. Here in Enugu, Nigeria, who hates Lagos, by
Yes.
the way. I mean, I think the truth is, many people don't want to accept it, but many people share that sentiment of not liking the place. But, we have to do what we have to do.
We gotta do what we gotta do.
Yeah. Now, why do you think, in your experience, why do you think that talents, or rather, let's say, talents in general, why do you think that we don't have the ability to retain talent here?
Well, we didn't have the ability
to retain,
proper talent.
Yeah, not just proper talent. Let's look at it from a perspective of percentage. Why aren't we retaining more talent? Because I mean, there are people who have decided to stay no matter what, but why aren't we retaining more?
So I think at the end of the day, the key thing in the talent retention conversation is the opportunity. People will go where they are needed, people will go where they are valued, and people will go where they are paid. And it's interesting because Enugu has the highest concentration of tertiary institutions. So it means that we churn out a lot of talented
people. About 14?
People. 17 actually.
Oh, it's not? Oh, wow.
Actually, if you add colleges of education, it's almost 30 actually. In Enugu, private universities, public universities, state universities, colleges of education, tertiary institutions, almost 30 in Enugu. So what that has done is that it has uniquely positioned us to have a lot of talents, a lot of educated people, young people, hungry people, but talented people nonetheless. And we didn't have the opportunities for these people to keep them here. And then there was the brain drain that always happened. In fact, that was why we created Genesis to, in quotes, stop the exodus. Because too many people were leaving. I
mean, we also face that too.
Exactly. Too many people were leaving. In fact, and interestingly, it was not just Lagos. It was even to go and do undergraduate studies, to go and do graduate studies, to do a second degree. So a lot of these things were happening. And you see that all of this movement stemmed from a place of opportunities.
Yes.
I don't have a job here. You hear things like, is that not too much pay for Enugu? Oh, but that's enough for Enugu standards. You understand? So it means that there were not enough opportunities for these people to work here. Where would they go to? Lagos? Sometimes Abuja, outside the country, where opportunities abounded. Okay? And then the other thing was that there were not enough areas of expertise to even fit to the opportunities that were here. So the opportunities here were very niche. So that not everybody can just come and start working there because there's no fit into what they can do as well. There was a lot of these things that were happening and, still happens, but at a lower scale. That's why people left. I finished uni.
Do you think it's lower though?
It's low. Oh no, there's been a lot of work has gone into retaining talent now.
Yeah. I mean, I know it has reduced, but is it ground level low?
Oh, no. Hells no. It's going to reduce. It's going to keep on reducing.
Yeah.
But there are lots of stuff that happen. I think we still talk about the role government has in creating enabling environments. So, but that was basically what has happened. That brilliance was a lot, opportunities weren't. And how would you go? You go to places that had these opportunities. So that's typically what has happened and what happened before. What still happens, but maybe in a reduced rate. And then there was the other part where Enugu became a hunting ground. It was a blueprint when we had the founders dinner with Alex.
Don't even get me started. It was almost as if, you hire, because like you said, the challenge that I always had during hiring was we would find talent. I always say talent is in abundance.
Yeah.
Skill is where we have a problem.
Yeah. Teach them those skills.
So you now bring them, train them, because you had Genesis. We designed internship programs at Blue Africa. And, what we did was entry-level talent, just pick them up, cinematography, social media management, digital marketing, content writing, copywriting. And after a period of time, and, let's leave the skill. There's a soft skill part, all encompassing. Yeah. And before you know what's happening, oh, I'm resigning. Where are you going to? I'm going to Lagos. Oh my God. So, you had to, it's like you constantly repeated the cycle.
Yeah. And that was this problem because at some point, fatigue sets in. Like,
You just get mentally exhausted.
Why
Very
am I
true.
doing this? I'm training these people. They come because fundamentally the educational system in Nigeria is bad. So it means that what we're looking for is more. There's the KSI, knowledge, skill, and attitude. So KSA, sorry. So that means a lot of what we're looking for was more about attitude, because other things can be learned. You can learn how to code. You can learn how to.
The mindset towards work.
It's just the mindset that we're looking for. So you find these people, train these people, pay these people what you can afford, because let's say business side to it, and then when they've learned enough, somebody from Lagos just comes and plucks them away. So there was also that part. It was not even just the whole.
Then bamboozles them with maybe an extra 100K.
Oh yeah, an extra 100K. But the thing is this, and I've always understood it: an extra 100K is a lot of money.
And it's, for me, it's beyond the extra 100K, because there's the extra 100K, then there's the social life that comes with living in a city like Lagos, Abuja. There is the intellectual exchange, because sometimes one called me 2 weeks ago, she was sitting and she's like, I'm tired. I'm like, why? She's like, there's nobody to interact with. It's almost difficult to find people.
Like minds.
Yeah, like minds, right? So I think that it goes beyond
the money.
It also includes the lifestyle. What life do I envision for myself?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think and I was talking to Onye the other day, and he says that's why Yaba Valley didn't work as Silicon Valley. People have to aspire to be in a place for critical mass to be achieved.
Yes.
So if I don't aspire to live at Independence Layout,
I agree.
You understand? Nobody aspires to live at Yaba. You understand? Because at the end of the day, it is the first time I was in Yaba, I almost had an accident because I was not I was looking at the correct place. Apparently, the bike did not know that it was the correct place, and it almost hits me. You understand? And that's not something you want to associate with yourself. So there's that enabling, and it's interesting because we don't talk about that part a lot. Everybody's always, it's the money, but the opportunities.
No, it's beyond the money.
There's the lifestyle.
Yeah.
Anytime I see you, I'm very happy because, oh my God, Odera, like minds. Okay?
Yes.
Do you understand? Like,
true.
And you see me and you talk, and like, do you remind me of my friend that is in another place? It tells you that. So we didn't, or we still don't have enough of these things to make people to aspire. Leave the money side to aspire to stay here, which is why government has a role to play as well in the entire thing.
Serious role to play, actually.
Yeah. Government has a role to play in the entire thing of creating enabling environments for people to stay here, work here, and want to pay taxes here. So, but for businesses as well, businesses also have to be able to. It has to make business sense to them. I'm paying you 100K. It's not because I'm wicked. It's because that's probably what I can afford. You're getting paid 500K in Lagos, probably what I can afford, what they can afford there. And the thing is interesting because I've always seen that Enugu has a lot of positives to make here like another commercial nerve center. The cost of living in Lagos is expensive.
Cost of living, yep.
Yeah, 500K in Enugu is a lot different from 500K in Lagos. Lagos and I breathe and I lose money. Enugu I have to breathe like 3 times before I lose money. You understand? So even that, so people don't necessarily aspire to go to Lagos just because, it smells, all of that stuff happens.
The water,
I was in Lekki the other day and it was like, I had to shower with like
bottled water, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Well, pure water. I'm not as rich as you are, but yeah, I get like it happens. Okay. So it means that Lagos is not even like an ideal place, right? It's just that it has an abundance of opportunities, right? So it means that Enugu has that idealness. I know I say this too many times, but which place has the best of in the world? Enugu.
Please, let's not start your conversation. And we'll be going on a short break, Ezra. Hold on. We'll be going on a short break, and when we come back, we will pick up the conversation.
Onye Afia, proudly brought to you by Qtix PLC, exclusive quality since 1982.
Welcome back. You are still tuned into Afia TV. This is Onye Afia and I am Odera Collins. This conversation has been very interesting. It is one that is dear to my heart, and I'm so glad that Ezra is bringing, different perspectives to it. Now, let's tilt towards what can be done. Although from what we've discussed earlier in the show, you could pick 1 or 2 things that we need to do, right? Let's start with the one that we like to accuse the most. What do you think the government can do? What role do they have in this?
Yeah, I think my favorite Igbo saying, which please pardon my Igbo, is I think you get the gist if I say it.
Say, let me know if I can help you out.
Album memory together.
Oh, no.
Obo fufu, something like that.
Stop talking.
Like,
Stop talking.
okay,
It's okay.
like, and you call memory Obo fufu.
And you call memory on Obo fufu.
Yeah, and you call memory on the Obo fufu, right?
Yes.
And which is that, at the end of the day, collaboration works. The role of government is in creating enabling environments.
Mm-hmm.
The role of government is not to say, hey, if they're paying you 500K, I'll pay you 1 million.
Money.
No,
please,
keep your money.
Because people always think it's to give money.
It's not money, like, and that's the interesting thing, is to create enabling environments, to create clusters so that critical mass can be achieved and people will want to stay there.
Yes.
People come into Enugu 1 year ago and they come now, they're like, oh, these roads are good. Wow, these lights, these things are happening. Oh, Enugu is actually nice, and that same thing is the job of government, the job of governance, to ensure that this place works.
Yes.
What are the things that makes Lagos a destination? All the offices, all the banks are headquartered in Lagos. You understand? So, for instance, the government says, okay, let's even do a hub, sort of. We only put ground rentage at maybe 1 naira for 5 years, some sort of agreement. But money points, have a branch here, Paystack, have a branch here, any of that stuff, right? And that happens, you now start seeing these people are going to pay taxes here because they are here. Yes. They're going to hire some people here as well. They're able to pay them in that amount as well. But then people are also going to have purchasing power because now they're in an environment that enables, and businesses are able to pay more. Okay? And that just comes from doing your job as government to create an enabling environment. Government should also attract people. Come here. What is attract investment? Because people come here and attract investment. There are jobs created. People don't live here because there are no jobs. People live here because there are not good enough jobs. So it means that there's a role in bringing people that can do good enough jobs. And, I'm loath to say this, but that's why Peter Mba is an amazing governor, because a lot of what he's doing is around positioning Enugu as a destination for people to work in, people to live in, and for people to feel safe and comfortable in it.
Yes. I
don't have traffic in Enugu. What time is this? It took me like 7 minutes from Independence Layout to drive here. No traffic. In Lagos, if I see from VI to maybe
you saw the recent traffic drama that happened 3 weeks ago?
Yes. People were leaving their homes at 4 a.m. and getting home at 1 p.m. At 1 a.m.
People that left Lagos to London had
gotten in. Actually, Lagos to Qatar, Lagos to US, if you get it direct flight. So my point is that the role of governance is not to start throwing money around. The role of governance is to create an enabling environment. And now the role of governance is also to bring people together, because there are lots of people that want to invest here, but they don't have an enabling environment. One, cost of doing business is very difficult, in terms of how do I get CAC, C of O for this land I want to develop, for instance. How do I ensure that people are not going to come and steal my stuff in the night? How am I able to do this? Government is not doing that. So when government does very low-hanging fruits like creating an enabling environment, people will want to stay here. And that's why some of the things that they're doing, I was talking to Onye Afia, he's the special advisor to the governor on digital economy and MSMEs. Yes. And I was mentioning how he had stuff he was doing around an outsourced global partnership where people can actually come and proper internet, proper workspaces, come and work, earn in USD or whatever, pay local taxes here, and infuse that money into the local economy. It's a win-win. And government did not have to pay anything. They just had to get outsourced global. Look at one of our old buildings.
Just a partnership.
You understand? It's public-private partnership. The role of government is to bring some of these things so that the private sector can come in and do a lot of stuff. And we've done our part in the private sector. We've trained the Enugu workforce. We started doing this in our Genesis Foundation in 2016. And we've trained over, and I'm sure you know this, Odera, a lot of the people you've spoken to in tech, the cradle was at Genesis. You understand? So it means that we have talent here that we've trained, incubated. They just need outlets to work, to do stuff here. So if government does that by creating an enabling environment, government does that by ensuring that, okay, the nightlife is also booming. Let the street lights work so people feel comfortable coming outside. You understand? Then people are going to not feel lack when they come here. It's not going to become a destination because there are lots of stuff we have that favor us, even in terms of land mass.
That was what I was about to say. I think it's one of the most underrated parts of this conversation. The land mass in Enugu is a lot.
It's a lot. And we just have one city, 2 city centers. I think Independence Layout, GRA.
Mm-hmm.
But it means that with the land that we have, Enugu can continue expanding and take these places and create new
and
clusters.
not just estates.
Exactly.
Industries.
Like actual industries.
Actual
industries.
And not hotels.
I was telling Oji the other day that the only way hoteling in Enugu can work is if the governor says by 7 p.m. everybody, oh yeah, enter a hotel. That's the only way that would work.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but it means that there's a lot of work that government can do.
Mm-hmm.
But we need to sit down together to discuss this, and governance, and I think they're doing it now.
And it's not even just about, training this talent. It's actually about what happens for them. What happens to them. Because I even think that most private organizations make an effort to train, but the problem is for the talent, the big question, what's my growth? Yeah. What's my growth path like? If I stay in this state, if I stay in this city. So, we need to provide an enabling environment.
Yeah, and a framework for growth.
Exactly, a framework for growth, really. Now, let's bring it back. I know we just said that the businesses help train.
Yeah.
But in perception, there was something you said earlier in the conversation that, piqued my interest, which is, is 100K not too much for somebody in Enugu? Mm-hmm. Is 150K? There are certain amounts of money. It's almost as if we put a glass ceiling to how much a person in this state can earn.
I don't even think that it's there's a glass ceiling on how much they can earn. There's a glass ceiling on how much they think they can earn. How dare you ask for more?
Mm-hmm.
How dare you want more?
Yes.
You understand? And, not to sound gosh, but I think that the major problem there is from a business side. I know that there's the part where people are just wicked, but there's from the business side, because if I'm not able to pay you, why would I increase your salary? Yeah. If I don't even know what your role is going to be in the future, why would I increase your salary? Because the economy has sort of been,
it's
civil servantalized, I think, so that for want of a better word.
But if we're to take it away from, let's leave the economy.
Yeah.
Not even, let's say, in an ideal environment, because I think that one thing that businesses should do is, as a business person, you should be able to adapt. Okay, yes. So how do we survive? How do we survive and thrive?
Innovate or die.
Innovate or die, exactly. Mm-hmm. So how do we do these things? Now, what role should businesses be playing in talent retention?
Yeah, the first part is that you gotta have a plan as a business. Okay, I did a consultancy for Tennessee, and the first thing we did review was their performance appraisal metrics. So things have to be monitored, because anything that gets monitored gets done well. But things also have to be rewarded, because how do they say it in Igbo? Yeah, your Igbo is beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
Omozo, right? And you need to let me speak my Igbo so I can practice with you.
Okay.
But yes,
Ekenedike
Nankomero.
Ekenedike Nankomero.
Ekenedike Nankomero. Omekwozo. Yeah, I'm not going to say that again because I'll bite my tongue. But yes, so things have to be monitored by the organization, and things have to be rewarded. So I want us to also establish that it's a difficult work for retaining talent. Like, it's rocket science, for want of a better word.
It's difficult and it's expensive.
It's difficult and it's expensive, but it has to be done, because at the end of the day, the quality of life improves. Okay, and that's the thing. The only person that has a role to play in this, and I know it's like I'm harping on the government a lot, but see, enablement is enablement. The US government, it was based on free research that the internet was created as a US government thing, and everything has been built on top of it. It's the same free research by the National Science Foundation that they did plasters that old people, because old skin is fragile. Yes. If you pull it out, it's going to, but there's no commercial viability for that. Government had to enable that for it to now happen. Mm-hmm. So innovation also does not happen in a vacuum. So it means that while businesses are doing this, there has to be support. But on the business side, they also have to think, how can I make my business profitable?
Yes.
And this innovator die is not a joke, because if you don't innovate, your business will literally become moribund, and then it's death. So businesses also have to hire people that are talented enough. Don't do I train these people, because what that thing gives us is entitlement. After everything I've done, God forbid that you tell me that. Okay? Because at the end of the day, everybody should protect their interest.
Yes.
As a business, protect your interest. Okay? Mm-hmm. And as a talent, protect your interest as well. But you as a business, you have to do the work of ensuring that this talent feels catered for, this talent feels cared for, and this talent feels compensated. And at the end of the day, it's not by doing pizza parties to make these people happy.
Please, no more pizza.
No more pizza. Like Tuesday.
It's always Friday.
It's always first.
You have to overwork.
Yeah. This is your corporate lifestyle. You still remember it.
Of course.
So my point is that business is on our end. Mm-hmm. We have to do work. we have to ensure that there's a plan. Like, and I tell people a lot, when they're interviewing you, ask them, what is growth like in this organization? I'll tell
A
you,
very important
like, what
question.
is growth like? I had a friend from uni, Idam. Idam's a brilliant computer scientist, and he got the job. And it was a technical support role. And he did, and I told him that there's no growth in this one. Come and take an internship here. We'll pay you 30K, but you will grow. And after the internship, he started earning 500K and got more options. So that growth part, right? Even though it's bad today, HEDMA, right? So tomorrow is going to be better. So I think those are the, exactly. So that's the job. I didn't understand that, but exactly.
So progression basically.
Exactly.
There's no direct. I don't know the direct way to do it.
No, but I think progression makes sense.
I will explain it after the show.
Okay, I would wait for that. But
Okay.
yeah, businesses should have plans. Businesses should reward. And businesses should also innovate. If not, people are going to leave regardless.
Thank you very much, Ezra. This has been engaging and insightful. I mean, for me, and I'm sure for you that has been watching us in the last 25 minutes. My name is Odera Collins. We have come to the end of today's episode of the show. I'm sure you learned a thing or two, right? Please, if you did, let us know on social media. You can follow us on all our social media platforms. Until next time, Mwenga phone also.
Dalo.
Onye Afia, proudly brought to you by Qtix PLC, exclusive quality since 1982.